Thank you so much for joining us for Nevada Week. We are still here with our panel talking about charter schools, and we have a few more things that we want to address. Kenneth, let's talk a little bit about demographics. Okay, so in the Gwynn Center policy report that we brought up on the show, we talked about performance. We didn't hit upon demographics as much. How commensurate are demographics from charter schools to traditional schools?
Yeah, so it's a great question, and I think that the very short answer is that it's getting better. Right. The longer answer, with more of the data, because we're a data team, right, is that the traditional public schools, you see of this total student population, about 43% of those students are Hispanic or Latino in origin, right, and then about 30% are Caucasian, 10% African American. When you go to state-sponsored charter schools, again, including both Jason and Rebecca's organizations together as one, you see those numbers reverse. So you see about 43% Caucasian, 30% Hispanic Latino, and then 10% African American. The big difference for district-sponsored charters is that they have got the largest percentage of African American students in the state, with about 17%. But the real difference is that you start becoming in the special populations. And so when I talk special populations, I'm saying those students who qualify for free and reduced price lunch, which traditionally in education has been used as a measure of poverty in schools. So traditional public schools, about 63% of the student population, traditional public schools qualify for free and reduced price lunch. At district-sponsored charters, it's about 50%. But at the state-sponsored charters, it's about 22%. So you see about a 40% difference between traditional public schools and state-sponsored charter schools. The other primary difference would be in the percentage of English language learners served, or English as a second language students, right? That traditional public schools have about 17% of their student population being English language learners, whereas at state-sponsored charter schools, it's about 7%. But I do know that the charter community is aware of this, and I think Jason and Rebecca, you might be able to say be able to speak more about what's going forward.
Yeah, I think it's important to put demographics in context. The state-sponsored charter schools have only been a part of the education portfolio in our state since 2011. And since 2011, we had 2,000 kids when we started. We're at 42,000. And every year that we've been in existence, our portfolio has grown more and more diverse, to the point where now we serve a majority minority students, and that's great news. But we recognize we have work to do to continue to increase access, which is a priority. We want every kid who wants to choose the charter option to have that option. I think there are a couple important things for us, at least at the state level, to do. I think one of those things is to learn from the ASD. ASD is doing some very innovative things on how to reach and get access into lower income parts of our community that have less access.
Oh, and if you don't mind, can I ask, what exactly are you doing to diversify?
Sure. The Achievement School District was really created in an effort to provide high-quality schools to students who are otherwise zoned to attend low-performing schools. And so, we're a small slice of the population that Kenny referred to, only 1,500 students at this point. But we were created to serve those kids who have historically not had access. So the population of kids in the Achievement School District is about 90% African American Latino. So a little bit different from those demographics you shared kind of holistically, and is 96% qualifying for free and reduced lunch. So much higher level of poverty, 17% EL, which is about on point with the state's numbers. So our work is really about providing high quality options in communities that don't necessarily have them right now. And the example that I would give, Democracy Prep Middle School, this past year was rated as 4 stars on the 5-point scale. And within a 5-mile radius, there's not another 4 or 5-star middle school in the community. There are 22 other middle schools in that community, 15,000 kids served, and that's the only 4 or 5-star school within 5 miles. So that's the type of shift that we're really aiming to accomplish in the work with the Achievement School District.
I'm wondering, when you're potentially working with the state authority then to kind of trend their numbers the same way, what are some of the recommendations you would have to be able to do that?
Yeah, so I think one of the advantages that I've had is because the Achievement School District has a real focus there, the types of supports and work that I do with those schools helps them to be prepared to serve that population. All of the schools in the Achievement School District provide free and reduced price lunch. And so, there's a collective around making sure that we all know how that works. Ensuring we all know how some of the pieces in the state system work related to federal funding streams that are available for schools that serve high populations of students that qualify for free or reduced price lunch is another example. So really just helping to make sure we're all providing the same opportunities and resources to those schools that are ready to serve and provide more access in high-need communities.
One thing I would add too is working closely with the local municipalities where those communities are. So the city of Las Vegas, right, city of North Las Vegas, they have all taken on education as a key priority for their constituents. And so partnering with them to understand what does that look like, where do you think your areas of greatest need are, how do we reach your constituents, how do we hear directly from the community about what kinds of educational options are you looking for, and how can we partner to bring those to your community. That is one of the benefits of the charter school space, is that we can be really responsive and reactive to what people are asking for, and particularly what parents are asking for. And the municipalities, the city of, our local cities really have their finger on the pulse of what's happening. And so collaborating with them to understand that is another great opportunity.
That's right.
I'm wondering geographically then, are there pockets of our state where, our ratios are really far off? And so the state, you said, was 20% free and reduced lunch. So are there cities that have even lower ratios than that? Or is there places where you notice that you're not getting the municipal support?
So I guess that's the question of the location of where the charter schools are. And I guess I would defer to Jason to talk a little bit more about that, because I think that's the one thing that I don't know that it's been missing from the conversation, but it's the one important piece that as I dig deeper into the data of the charter schools, is it's that I think Rebecca's data says it the best of it's not fair to kind of say holistically how it is. I think charter schools, to truly kind of evaluate or compare to other schools, should be compared to those neighborhood schools that are directly surrounding them, right? And so this, from the state-sponsored charter authority side, I guess it would be kind of the location of those charter schools and the demographics that those locations are in. And then it's a discussion of should they be in those locations. But.
Yeah, we're in the process at the authority of evaluating that in our performance framework. So looking at academic performance relative to other schools that are in our same geographic area. And then in addition to that effort, then looking at where our charters are actually located here in the Las Vegas Valley in northern Nevada, and trying to understand why we're, like here in Las Vegas, we form a ring pretty much around the valley. Why are our schools locating there, and what can we do to incentivize schools to locate in other locales? And part of that is, providing incentives through the authorizing process. Other pieces of that are just available real estate. In northern Nevada, the biggest challenge we've had in Washoe County is construction costs are very, very high to build a school, and even to find a facility to revamp and move into is cost prohibitive. And so you're seeing, and at least in northern Nevada, slower growth in charters, especially in low-income areas, than you are here in the South. And the best we were able to do in northern Nevada as far as that goes is to locate at a Boys and Girls Club, where we were able to collaborate with a local nonprofit to be able to deliver to an underserved area. And so we may have to look for opportunities like that to collaborate with other community organizations in order to access some of the geographical locations that we currently don't serve.